Live, local, now. This is the News at 7.
Right now, we are following storms in the area that are causing major flooding in Savannah and surrounding areas.
Yeah, you're seeing this out there in one of the areas of Savannah, covering the roads, fire trucks going through that water. We do have team coverage tracking the flooding. Elizabeth Rollins is going to join us in just a moment. She is checking out some of the scenes for us. But first, Dave Turley will tell us more about the rain coming in. And are we done for the time being, Dave?
It looks like the greater Savannah region is pretty much over with. What prompted all that flooding is a lot of heavy rain coming down in about an hour's time. About 2 to 3 inches of rain here, right along the south side Savannah area, heading into parts of the downtown east side of Savannah over towards Whitmarsh Island. That's the heavy rain we had in the Chatham County. We also had a lot of heavy rain here east of 170 into Beaufort County. 2 to 4 inches of rain there. We had some localized flooding. Thankfully, all the rain on our Safety and Security First Alert Live radar is pretty much gone for Beaufort County and into Chatham County. Maybe just a few sprinkles to get down into Richmond Hill. Right now, all we're tracking is a little bit of thunder right over the Servancy area. Nothing severe. That's going to be raining itself out here, it looks like, in the next couple of hours. And the rest of the area, drying it out. Still got a flooding concern as we slowly start to drain things out in the downtown Savannah area. But if you're heading out downtown, make sure you're aware that some of the streets could still be flooded for the next short while or so. But that is going to be improving. The weather is drier air. I think we'll have a nicer evening coming up and a good start to the weekend, but more storms are possible. We'll talk about that in our 7-day forecast coming up here at about 7:21. And we did have reports of that funnel cloud. The SEMA reported that we had a funnel cloud sighting. We went back and looked on our overhead sky cam, did a little time lapse. It looks like we caught the funnel cloud right there, reported near Highway 17 in the Dean Forest area. Didn't do any damage, but it had a brief little bit of rotation right there, as we can see there. Thankfully, no other reports of any damage. We don't expect any more severe weather in here, and conditions should start to get much better as we go on through the rest of the evening. You can check out the flooding videos and that funnel cloud at WTOC.com, right there on our main page.
Elizabeth Rollins here at the live desk. We're getting a lot of pictures and videos that viewers are sending us within the last couple of minutes. We want to show you somebody that we found on Facebook, the Ardsley Park Open Chat Facebook group. Someone posted in there just a few minutes ago that this is video from Abercorn near 61st and 64th Street. The person who posted this says that 3 cars just drove over his grass in his backyard just to use the alley. Let me look at that truck and how high that water is coming up there. You can see several cars that are just trying to move through. I mean, there were a number of cars that made their way in that area. We do not recommend you doing this, folks. Even if you make it through, it can still damage your car. In fact, someone sent us a picture of how they pushed through that water and actually damaged the part of their grill on the front of their car. We also want to show you some video also in the Ardsley Park area, Yaya's Kitchen at 48th and Habersham. It looks like their restaurant obviously flooded inside. You can see them kind of mopping up. This is video that our Ken Griner sent to us. Looks like I said, we're trying to clean up in that area. Our Harley Strickland is actually headed that way now, and hopefully we'll have a live report shortly. Guys?
Well, we sure are. Harley Strickland, I keep calling her that, pardon me, Harley, has now made it to Yaya's in Ardsley Park, and it's really a mess over there, isn't it?
Don, it sure is. Now, driving over here to this area, some roads are opening back up, and some of this water on the road is disappearing, which is a great thing. And as you can see, the sun's peeking through those clouds. But like she said, I am at the intersection of Habersham and East 48th Street, and I'm here with the owner of Yaya's Kitchen. So I see there's some water inside.
Yes, there is. Unfortunately, when the storm started hitting, I called 311, the city's line, trying to see if someone can come over and put some barricades, because one of the biggest problems we have is cars coming through here. When they come through and the place gets flooded, because all the drainage comes to this corner from Washington. So at that time, couldn't get through the city line, called 911 and told them, I said, can someone from the police department get someone over here? Which no one did come by, and with that, traffic constantly comes through here. And when the wakes come in, we get the water.
So you're cleaning up now, and I see some fans.
Yeah, we're cleaning up because of the drive-through traffic. Plus, for those who've lived in Savannah know Ardsley's always been a problem. And what's frustrating at times is they always talk about addressing the problems in Ardsley, but you always watch the news and all the focus is downtown, tourists, downtown stadiums, arenas. But here's the problems in your communities.
Right here in this area.
Exactly.
Correct.
All of Ardsley Park, and they were supposed to have had all this taken care of with all these projects, and so far, here we are. We're still in the flood.
Well, hopefully we can get that fixed soon. Now, I know we've got to head on over to another area, but we will keep you updated on these areas and these road closures. And like I said, please be careful in this water. Live in Savannah, Harley Strickland, WTOC News.
Toombs County officials closing nearly a dozen roads because of flash flooding.
Well, take a look at these pictures. Dirt roads are being washed out. Our Bureau Chief Dow Kennedy is there with a closer look at all the damage.
It looks like a river opened up here on Roderick Clifton Road here in South Toombs County. That water continues to pour after inches and inches of rain last night. Flooding rains washed out dirt roads all across Toombs County, forcing county crews to close a dozen. Lewis Spikes came from a nearby farm to temporarily patch this small canyon on George Hill Road.
How often do you see it get like this?
About 3 years ago, it got halfway this bad. Never seen it this bad before.
A few miles away, the water washed half of Hardin Chapel Road into the branch. The rain stopped Cody Powell in his car just up the road.
I had to stop for about an hour, just from and it still was raining once I left.
County leaders say they can't start repairs until next week, when they can get heavy grading equipment out here without making bad situation even worse.
So you have to wait till the road dries out some so you can drop that blade down and get a firm footing underneath it.
They've made all but 3 damaged roads passable for now. Moore urges people to use caution where the water remains.
We got this motto, turn around, don't drown. Don't go through that. You might have lived there for 100 years, but you don't know how deep that water is.
The road crews can only wait until all this water gets out of here and goes downstream before they can begin looking at the damage underneath. What they hope is we don't see more rain to come. In Toombs County, Dow Kennedy, WTOC News.
We'll bring you a WTOC update to an investigation we first brought you a week ago. Results from a recent survey by the Georgia Gang Investigators Association saying there is a gang crisis across the state.
Yeah, and according to the vice president of that organization, Chatham County ranks in the top 10% in Georgia. The organization also claims that kids and teens are now responsible for more gang activity than adults.
Danielle Lewan met with parents who found out their son was in a gang the day he was shot and killed.
This survey found kids in Georgia are getting involved in gang activity as young as 10 years old. Law enforcement in Savannah tell me it's not the presence of gangs that's the problem. It's the criminal activity coming out of them, which can be deadly.
James was a part of a gang. We're not proud of it. We're not ashamed of it. Just because he made bad decisions doesn't mean he was a bad person.
James Pastures, the first homicide victim of 2015.
That's a day that we'll never forget. My husband had just passed him coming home. He saw him, waved at him, talked to him. About 30 minutes later, we got the phone call saying that James had been shot.
Showing no signs of gang activity.
We didn't really know until he was murdered that he was a part of a gang.
James was in his early 30s, but his parents, Michelle and Joseph Pastures, don't know how young their son joined a gang. Following his son's murder, Pastures says he's much more aware and recognizes the signs of gang activity.
I know they were under 18. Two young guys walking in neighborhoods with the little red flags in their pocket.
Captain Bobby Irvin with the Chatham County Sheriff's Office sees gang activity in youth firsthand.
The Youth Detention Center, juvenile, they're claiming to be gang members from that point on. They already have gang tattoos.
Proud of their criminal activity in gangs as they go in and out of the system through the years.
They'll have their birthday and come over here to the jail when they're old enough, and they'll brag about it.
How many people in this detention center would you say are part of a gang?
At least 40 to 50% of everybody in here has some kind of a gang relation.
A peace pole now stands in the Pastures' yard in their son's memory.
With justice come peace.
As they wait for justice, they want this pole to be a reminder to all youth of the consequences of gang violence.
We love you. We miss you. Not a day does not go by without us thinking about you.
The 2 men accused of killing James Pastures are set to go on trial this October. I found not only are these gangs problematic on the streets, but there's a whole new gang world behind bars. Tonight at 11, I'll take you inside the Chatham County Detention Center, where a new gang culture lies.
Well, here's a look at some alarming numbers coming out of our survey. Chatham County says more than 850 active gang members exist here. It also says gangs are responsible for more than half of all the crimes in the entire county. There was also gang activity reported within the school system. A traffic alert for anyone driving in Effingham County tonight. The Georgia Department of Transportation will close State Route 17 at Blue Jay intersection now throughout the weekend. The weekend closure will allow contractors to construct the roundabout islands. Now, the new roundabout is scheduled to open to traffic this coming Monday at 5 a.m. bright and early that morning.
Well, we want to take you from Effingham County back into Savannah, where that water and the rain came down very hard and fast. This is flooding on 61st and Abercorn. And as you see the minivans moving through there, also a truck. Don't advise that turnaround. Don't drown. We'll have more on your forecast straight ahead.
Elizabeth Rollins here at our live desk. We continue to compile pictures and videos that viewers continue to send us of flooding in and around the Savannah area. We want to show you now flooding. This is near East Henry Street. You can see those folks wading through the water there. These may be first responders. It's kind of hard to tell. We do know that Savannah Fire set up search groups tonight in the downtown area to help drivers whose cars have stalled out on the streets. We also want to show you this is also near East Henry Street as well, of a submerged car there. You can barely see that car, the one you just saw there, but hopefully everyone made it out okay. We've been checking Twitter. No reports of any injuries yet. We're following SEMA, following Savannah Fire and police. We continue to follow that as well. So we don't recommend this is in the Brandlewood subdivision area. Those cars look like obviously submerged a couple of feet there underwater. We don't recommend, turn around, don't drown. We've also heard if you do make it through, you can still damage your car. Of course, we'll continue to follow this and keep you updated, guys.
And thankfully, all the heavy rain is gone right now. We're seeing sunshine out there, and that'll continue for the rest of at least the next hour or so. And then we get more dry weather for the overnight. We'll talk about the weekend and the 7-day forecast coming up as the news continues. Drying things out, as we can see from our RPI Roofing downtown sky cam looking over the downtown area. We had 4,400s officially at the airport, but of course we know we had a lot more than that across central areas of Chatham County and into Bryan and into coastal areas of Beaufort County. Thankfully, the heaviest rain is over. I think we're going to start to really dry things out over the next couple of hours. Heading out tonight, we are going to see those rain chances really decreasing. I think we're pretty much done here for areas north of I-16. Safety and Security First Alert Live radar still picking up a little bit of thunderstorm activity. Moving now just to the east and south of the Baxley area, getting into the Odom region. Looks like that's going to continue to make its way down into the Scriven area as it gets into there. It looks like by about 8:07, an isolated thunderstorm, maybe producing some brief locally heavy rain, but it's moving, so we don't really expect a widespread flooding event. Look at the clear skies inland, 86 Vidalia, 85 over towards the Claxton area. Still getting some showers here along the coastal areas south of I-16 just for the next couple of hours. The stationary front, which has been draped over the area, will actually work back northward tomorrow as a warm front. That means drier and hotter conditions coming up for your Saturday morning and afternoon. Doing some boating tomorrow. West winds becoming southwest. No advisories. 10 to 15 knots. Seas 2 to 3 feet. Same story at the beaches. Highs back in the upper 80s. 20% chance for showers and a low risk for rip currents. We are watching more later Saturday evening. There you go. Your timestamp going into noon time tomorrow. Still pretty quiet. I think we're nice and dry for most areas tomorrow. But we're going to watch showers and storms developing to our northwest. Trying to move into the area. Look at the timestamp. Late Saturday into the overnight hours into early on Sunday morning. We could be talking about some stronger, maybe even a few severe thunderstorms. We'll have to keep our eyes on that, but I think it's all gone by the time you wake up on Sunday morning. So there's that slight risk for those stronger storms late tomorrow night. Make sure you got your first alert weather app with those alerts turned on, and we're going to see maybe another chance for some afternoon storms coming up for your Sunday, and we keep those afternoon storms going through next week with highs remaining into the lower 90s. We're going to go out now to our meteorologist Jamie Ertl, who's in the Storm Chaser here, and she is over on Durant Avenue. Jamie, how's it look over there?
Dave, we just turned off Durin and made that left onto Abercorn, and here's what you're going to see if you're on Durin. Well, it's stop-and-go traffic really from 516 to Durin and Abercorn, and we are right behind a couple of stalled-out cars, and the road is still flooded. These are low-riding cars. Obviously, the water was higher than this earlier as it is still receding. Daniel, let's go ahead and try to drive around what we are watching right now. And we're getting past kind of. Okay, we're in the Storm Chaser. We are in an SUV, and I would not encourage anybody to do what we're doing. So this Honda here, the water is now coming up to the actual floorboard of their tires and their car. Yep. Good job. Good job, person. You do not want to drive through Abercorn from Durin at this time. Just stay away from Ardsley Park because it is still flooded on Abercorn. Live in the Storm Chaser, Jamie Ertl, WTOC Weather.
A dream of a Major League ball player from Effingham County is about to become a reality. The Josh Reddick Miracle Field will have its grand opening tomorrow at 10 a.m. in Springfield. The Houston Astros star donated $1 million to his native Effingham County to create the baseball park for children with special needs. The entire field is turf, making it easier for those in wheelchairs to take part.
That everybody with handicap disabilities can come on this field, whether you're in a wheelchair, crutches, or you need a cane to walk. We're going to make it possible for everybody to go on the field and be able to play a sport, and I think that was the main goal from day one.
And the Effingham County Navigator Group will play the first game after the ribbon-cutting ceremony tomorrow.
That's awesome. Great guy.
Awesome as far as the weather goes. The heavy rain is gone. We still got a few areas of some flooded streets. Jamie just showed us that in the Storm Chaser. So give it another hour or so before everything to really start to drain out. We're going to watch maybe some more storms tomorrow night.
Thanks a lot, Danny.
Be careful out there. Don't drive through standing water. Check out WTOC.com for the latest.